Hello everyone. So I think this video is going to be like half talk through, half get ready with me. I'm not too sure yet, but let's go ahead and jump into it. So I'm going to start by doing the old tape method. So just grab a piece of Scotch tape, put it on the back of your hand to get rid of the tackiness. That way it's not so intense and ripping your skin off. By priming my eyelids, I just use my MAC Pro Longwear Concealer for priming. I really wish they would fix the pump on those because it always deposits like too damn much. I like using this too because it cancels out like the redness on my eyelids, especially right now that I'm like kind of sick. Okay, and then I'm gonna set that, and my favorite way to set my eyes lately is just with some translucent powder. I'm using the Laura Mercier one. So I think I'm feeling like a vampy, deep, warm, smoky look. So let's see what we can create. I'm gonna start with just a neutral transition color, just anything light. So I'm gonna go ahead and go in with this one from the Morphe 35O palette. And if you're already annoyed that I'm using the 35O palette, then I'm sorry, but there's so many eyeshadows. So with that many eyeshadows, I mean, come on, you gotta use it like multiple times. How could you not? So I'm just keeping this on the outer V just to build up that color. And I am dragging it slightly on the lid, but just keeping it in the outer portion. I'm gonna go in with this color here. Just I guess more of like a red base brown, which I've been kind of feeling lately for eyeshadow purposes. And then I'm gonna keep it low as well. And then start to bring it in when I have less product. Like really feeling like this eye is aging faster than this eye. How do I stop that? Can't they just age like at the same time? Feels like this eye is gonna need like a lift before this eye. Dip into the Balm Nude. I got this recently from like an Ipsy offer, so I'm gonna try it. It's just a nice neutral palette, and I'm gonna go in with the color Sleek, which is like a really deep. Where was that? Just like a really deep chocolatey brown. And I'm gonna keep this super low. Grab another brush because I kind of want to pack it a little bit on the lid. Okay, then I'm going to go in with this color Sexy, which is like a deep burgundy. And then I'm going to start this where we slowly started to fade in that other dark chocolatey brown color. And I'm going to grab more of this reddish brown color from the Morphe 35O palette to help kind of meld everything together and warm it up a little bit more. Okay, I'm going to finish the other eye off camera and I'll be right back. Okay, so that is done. I know the line looks a little harsh, but I am going to diffuse that. I'm feeling like I'm going to need some winged liner for this to just really make it vampy or wherever I'm going with this. So I'm gonna go in with the L'Oreal 24-Hour Infallible Lacquer Liner and then my go-to Essence brush. Okay, now that we went ham on the wing, we're gonna go ahead and go in with foundation. So what I've been doing lately as far as like my foundation routine is I've been mixing the Nivea Post Shape Balm and the NYX Born to Glow Illuminating Primer. When I first tried this primer out, I wasn't like super impressed, but lately my skin has just been really not jiving with me, and since I've been sick, it's just been really dry and just feeling a little aged. So I've been mixing the two and they've just been really giving my skin a lot of hydration, and my foundation has just been going on a lot smoother, and I've been feeling pretty good about it. So I'm gonna go ahead and mix those two together and use those as a base. And then I'm also gonna go in with the Make Forever Step 1 Skin Equalizer. So this is a smoothing one, and I'm just gonna pat it in where I have my pores more predominant. So I just mix these two together on my hand, on clean hands, and then just place it all over my face. And then before I go in with foundation, I'm gonna use this LA Girl Pro Concealer, which is like it's like a more salmon-y concealer, and it's in creamy beige. And I'm gonna use that where I have a lot of redness right now. So around where this pimple is trying to come through. It's just been red around my nose just because I'm not feeling well, so I'm always blowing my nose lately. Okay, and then another step I've been doing as well, just as part of my base routine, I've been using the Becca Shimmering Skin Perfector, and I've only been concentrating it here just so that I have some sort of glow coming through, especially when my skin feels really dull. So just concentrate it right here. So that way it adds a nice glow and my face feels hydrated before I go in with foundation. So for foundation, I'm going to go in with my Makeup Forever Ultra HD. Okay, so for concealer, I'm gonna go in with, I've been mixing these two just because they have been bomb. This one's a little too white on its own. So I've been mixing the Pro Longwear concealer and the Urban Decay Naked Skin Concealer. So I just tap my Pro Longwear in, put on the chin, and then I go in with a light layer of this after. And it just helps highlight more. Okay, so I'm going to do a little bit of setting, and I'm going to set with the Laura Mercier Loose Translucent Setting Powder. And then since I'm like really dry right now, creasing has been like off the chain. So I start with most of the powder right here, and then I work a little bit up to where the fine lines are. But I keep most of it right here, which is where I put most of my concealer anyway, in this area. So I've been really into cream contouring lately. I gave this a bad review, mostly because these colors really sucked in my opinion. But this one I've really been loving. It's actually been a lot more creamy now that I've worked with it a lot. So I've been really feeling this one for contouring. So I'm gonna go ahead and cream contour with the shade. And this is in the shade Light. And then I'm just going to blend it out with a stippling brush, small stippling brush. I didn't realize I had my brows on, so I went and put them on. So for my brow bone highlight, to highlight my brow bone, I'm going to go ahead and use this corner color here. It looks like a matte whitish color. It's like a more of a vanilla, it's not like a stark white, which is cool. Okay, so going back to complexion, I'm gonna go ahead and set the contour with a powder. But first, I'm gonna do a light layer of the Laura Mercier Translucent Setting Powder, just because I want everything to go on without any skipping or anything like that. I'm going with the Wet n Wild Mega Glow contouring palette. Looks like this, and it is in the shade Caramel Toffee. Picked this up at Target the other day, and I'm like super impressed with it. Like, I like it because it's not like super ashy. It's a tad warm, but it still really works well for contouring. Plus, I think it was like $5, so I mean, you can't beat that. Pigmentation is really on point. Like when you first put it on, you're kind of like, okay, this is really nothing special, but it just blends so nicely. Okay, and then I'm gonna lightly bake with the yellow powder. I'm just gonna mostly bake up in this area. That yellow powder is bright, it's really brightening. Okay, I'm gonna let that sit for a second, and then I'm gonna go ahead and put on some mascara and move on to falsies. Before I put on false lashes, I'm actually gonna do my lower lash line because I just realized I haven't done that. I'm gonna take Sleek super close to the lash line. And I'm gonna almost connect it to where that black liner starts. And I'm not gonna drag it all the way in, just about a quarter of the way in. And then I'm gonna buff it out in a second. Okay, so I'm gonna buff that out with this red based brown color from the 35O palette, which I have just been really ridiculously feeling lately. And I want the lower lash line to be super smoky, so I'm gonna bring that color in slightly, but not all the way. That's why I'm going in with like a bigger brush, just because I do want that to be kind of intense. Okay, so in the inner tear duct area, I'm gonna do kind of a matte highlight. So I'm gonna mix these, I'm gonna mix these two colors. So this one's like a really light yellow color, and then this is just that vanilla shade. I'm just gonna do pretty much a C formation, and that way it kind of opens up that inner portion of the eye. And then it also makes this portion here pop a little bit when we blend that together. I'm gonna go ahead and buff away this bacon here. Not bacon, baking. Lashes, I'm gonna go in with the Salon Perfect 614s. Love is just too real between me and my 614s. So I wasn't gonna do any blush, but I think I'm gonna do some. I picked up one of the newer Wet n Wild Color Icon blushes, and this is supposed to be reformulated, and it is in the color Mellow Wine, and I think the color theme just kind of fits what I'm... So, like, the Wet n Wild products are super dusty, but the color payoff is really nice, so I don't really mind that so much. For lips, I'm gonna do a odd combo, but the Ofra Brooklyn obviously is like my fave. I actually got this retractable lip liner from NYX, and I just really love the color. It's like more of a brownish red color. So I'm gonna use this as a base, and this one is called Sienna. So that is the final look. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Don't forget to give it a thumbs up if you enjoyed it, and I will see you guys in my next video, and don't forget to subscribe on your way out. Bye!